What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham, G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the May 29, 2023 edition of Raw Talk, as hosted by Matt Camp, and filling in for Jackie Redmond this week, Scott Stanford. I assume that's due to the fact that it's hockey season right now, so Jackie's busy with other commitments and whatnot, but she will be back at some point, replacing Scott Stanford. So this was the Memorial Day edition of the show. I thought Raw last night was solid overall. Following up a Night of Champions, building towards Money in the Bank. Decent stuff overall, although a bit of a filler show. Definitely a holiday show, you can kind of tell, although decent overall. They recap the Money in the Bank qualifiers for Monday that saw Ricochet and Shinsuke Nakamura both qualify. We hear from Ricochet backstage alongside, I think it was Byron Saxton, and it was actually. Kathy Kelly was in an interview backstage later on in the show. Ricochet says that it means everything to pick up that win and qualify for Money in the Bank, and he understands what it means to be in it. He was in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match in 2018, or 2019 rather, and I think again maybe last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember, but he's been in two already. This would be his third. He acknowledges the Miz's accolades as a former two-time Grand Slam champion, Money in the Bank winner, and having cashed in the contracts twice successfully. So it means something to him to beat The Miz, although The Miz hasn't picked up a fucking TV win in like 5 months, but whatever. He plans on taking his momentum to Money in the Bank and winning that contract. Matt Camp says that both Ricochet and Nakamura have been in two matches before, that being, I said that earlier, the two men's Money in the Bank ladder matches. I honestly forgot what the second was. The second one was for Nakamura. I knew that he was in the 2017 one for SmackDown, the men's one that year, the same year they did the women's one for the first time. I wasn't sure what the second one was, but then I remembered he was King Nakamura in the 2021 Money in the Bank ladder match. Totally forgot he was even in that one. They hype up the women's qualifiers for next week: Natalya versus Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch versus Sonya Deville. Either Becky and Zoe are both advancing, or neither are advancing. I really don't want Natalya and Sonya taking up two spots, so I'm just kind of hoping Becky and Zoe are both in it. They replay the Cody Rhodes promo challenging Brock Lesnar to a rematch. They recap the women's Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, the crowned new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, won by Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Matt Cam says that Ronda and Shayna got the job done in impressive fashion, and they are the new tag team champions, and that Ronda becomes the 25th woman to hold that title, and in about 10 days, I believe, I looked it up myself, because he mentioned it here, and I forgot the number that he said, Shayna becomes the longest reigning WWE Women's Tag Team Champion of all time. Not in a single team, but of combined days for any one person as champion. She would surpass Asuka at that point, which is interesting. Chelsea and Sonya, we hear from them backstage with Kathy Kelly, and they said they will be champs at some point because they're stars. They're stars, so they will be champs eventually. Chelsea asks for Kathy Kelly's manager, and that was about it. So kind of a pointless interview considering they lost on Monday and whatever. They're entertaining, but what purpose did this serve? I guess due to the fact that Sonya's in the qualifier next week, they wanted to mention that, although they didn't really touch upon that here. Whatever. They recap Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch from Night of Champions, won by Stratus, as well as the Raw angle. They replayed that with Trish and Zoe Stark teaming up on Becky, beating her up. We hear from Byron Saxton, Zoe Stark, and Trish Stratus backstage here in the show. Kind of a notable interview, I guess. And Byron asks them about their business relationship. And is there an alliance here, a formidable partnership between the two? And they acknowledge, yeah, there is a business relationship between Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus, but it's only for them to know. And they're happy to do what they did to Becky Lynch on Raw and Night of Champions again and again and again. So the feud is just getting started, which is cool to see. Scott Stanford says what we were all kind of thinking, myself specifically, coming off that angle on Saturday's Night of Champions show, that he calls this a great spot for Zoe Stark to be in. And I completely agree with that. As long as they don't render her an afterthought and Becky beats her clean in 2 weeks, this could really benefit Zoe Stark, so I like that. They recap the main event on Raw that saw Rollins and AJ Styles knock off the Judgment Day in tag team action. And Cam says that Rollins sent a strong message his first night in on Raw as the champion by taking on all comers in the form of Judgment Day and emerging victorious. They also hype up the Roman Reigns 1,000-day celebration for SmackDown and tease animosity with the Bloodline after what happened with Jimmy Uso and Roman on Saturday's Night of Champions pay-per-view. quality show here. The Chelsea Green and Sonya interview was kind of pointless, but we got to hear from Trish, we heard from Zoe Stark, and we heard from Ricochet as well as he heads into his third men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Thank you guys for checking in my review. I appreciate it. Been kind of light on the videos in recent days. It was a very busy weekend, but I am uploading either already by the point you listen to this or after this or whatever. At some point in the next couple days, or at least soon here on the channel, I will upload the rest of my 2 or 3 other videos I took at the NXT Battleground show I was present for, in attendance for on Sunday, front row actually, ringside, which was really cool. Took a couple more shorts of that, so that will be uploaded at some point here on the channel, among many other videos to keep an eye out for. So check out those when you get a chance. Be sure to hit the bell button if you haven't already to subscribe to the channel and hit to be notified anytime a new video goes up. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.